Welcome back. Okay, so in the last segment, we told you all about our spices, and now we're just about ready to add them to our pot that we're going to be making the curry in. The basmati rice is still on the stove, and so all we did over the break is we added 4 cups of water and about 1/4 of a cup of coconut milk to a pot, and now and then we added about a cup of lentils. And along the way, you could probably add a little bit more water to it just as things start to get going so that it doesn't get really like thick and clumpy. But the lentils are a really great base to our curry.
And lentils have been really eaten in every culture, mostly since the beginning of time. Essentially, they're one of the reasons I think is because they're a great source of protein, and they're a really good substitute to meat. And they give you all the protein. They're a complete protein, so your body can digest it in a better way, and it gives you all that you would need ever from meat or anything like that, and sometimes in a way better than meat. So they're cooking in here first because they take a little bit longer, like in soups or whatever. You're always going to want to cook them a little bit longer than everything else. But we also put it in with coconut milk, which I think Mel's going to talk a little bit about.
Yeah, so, okay, the coconut milk I think people forget about because you see coconut milk, and for example, this one for a serving is 12 grams of fat. So people think like, that's crazy, but don't go ahead and buy the reduced fat coconut milk or low fat or whatever you want to call it. Buy the real stuff, because the thing is that if you buy the reduced fat or low fat, if you look on the label, the ingredients are coconut and water. So that's what we're doing. We're getting more bang for our buck right now. So in this one can, I'm probably getting like 3 or 4 cans of the reduced fat stuff. So instead of adding 1/2 cup or more of reduced fat coconut milk into this curry, I added maybe a little less than 1/4 of a cup to the curry, and it's being diluted from the water. So definitely buy the real stuff, and it just smells so delicious.
So
and our basmati rice is smelling insane right now. It smells so good from the coconut milk, sorry. Okay, so normally you wouldn't take your pot off the stove, but for the sake of television, we've done so. And we're just going to add all of our spices and bring it right back to the stove. So I have no shame. I had to write out a list.
There's so many.
There's just too much stuff. If you're going to go ahead and just buy your 1 packet of curry, that's fine. But we've got about 7 or 8 things to add to this thing. So I'm just going to read out the list, and you should make yourself a list too when you're cooking this, because it's easy to forget. Okay. So the first thing I'm going to do is add 1/4 of a tablespoon of ground ginger, and you could do this in several ways. You could not do ground ginger, but instead do powdered, or if you go into the supermarket, you can get in like the Asian aisle, they have these little cans. They look like baby food jars, and it's just minced ginger, and you could keep that in your fridge. And that's something that I did last semester when I didn't have an apartment, didn't have like a fridge to put a lot of stuff in. But this ginger, I've had it in my fridge for about a week and a half right now, and I just bought a big chunk of it. And another thing about ginger, when you're in the supermarket and you'll see it, and not everyone's seen ginger before, so it kind of looks like a root, sort of. You'll see this like big root. You don't have to buy the whole thing. Just break off as much as you need. You usually don't need that much. Like we said before, chai. I love chai. If you want to make your own chai tea, definitely invest in some ginger. But I just wrapped it up in tin foil and threw it in the fridge. So yeah, so I have my microplane. If you don't like ground, whatever you have is fine. Okay, so basically a microplane works like this, and it's really fine grating, and it's also great for like nutmeg and garlic. But all the good stuff is on the bottom, so when you don't see anything like coming through, it's because it's on the bottom. So you kind of just want to like slide it off.
That's amazing.
But
because when I've tried to like grate ginger to some Asian sauces and stuff, and using a regular like sort of a cheese grater with the finer side, it's just really, really hard because the texture of ginger is really stringy and it gets kind of weird.
It is.
But that's an awesome tool.
It is really. It is. I got it as a gift actually. I love it. That's and really it kind of gets this like creamy like consistency, and it just like melts almost into the heat of what we have so far. So I'm just going to add even a little bit more. And okay, so these are just guidelines that when I was fooling around with this curry recipe, I decided I liked for myself. If you know for yourself that you like a lot of ginger in something, add more. And if you don't like ginger at all, or if you don't have it available to you, add less or add none. So, but ginger usually is a staple in like both Thai and Indian curries, and it's a great thing to have. It's a great smell.
Okay.
Actually, you need to add 1/4 of a teaspoon of ground cinnamon.
Okay.
1/4 of a tablespoon of ground cinnamon. Sorry.
Okay.
So this is